We're going to start off the Heroes of Spain tonight by featuring one of the most exciting white wines of the world today. This is a white variety that I don't think we talked about 20 years ago. And today there are a number of exciting producers bringing this varietal forward at different price points. And as a wine store, I look to find a version or versions of this wine variety that I think you would really enjoy. And this one's at the top of the charts. This is Albamar, and we found the importer to help us discuss this wine, and their expert is on the line with us, Max Working, uh, just screaming with quality marks, but also likable because a lot of the high end Albariños get really angular and acidic, and this one maintains a balance and a richness and really hits a lot, checks a lot of boxes for me. And I think everyone that tries it loves it. And I've even done this wine in some live dinners and events, and everyone's like, wow, that is good. So this is really an exciting product. Thanks for talking to us about it.
Thank you for the opportunity, and thanks for the nice introduction and the support. Yeah, on the subject of what you say about a variety that we weren't talking about 20 years ago, it's safe to say that in those last 2 decades, that Albarino as a grape variety has been a total success story, and it has gone in that time from a local, hyper local specialty, really local only to the area around where this winemaker from Albamar is, which is a town called Cambados. I don't think the town name is not on the scale of this map, but so we're in the Rías Baixas region of Galicia in the far northwest of the Iberian Peninsula. His name is Xurxo, which is a little bit of a mouthful, especially when you look at the spelling. It looks scary, Xurxo, but rest assured, all that is the Galician version of Jorge, George.
Okay.
In Gallego, which is in Galicia, it's a parallel separate language to Castilian Spanish. It's not a dialect, it's considered to be a different language. In Gallego, Jorge is Churcho. Basically run a little local restaurant, Taberna da Maria, his mother, and his winery is in the back of their restaurant. And so basically the family, like so many families, they'd had vineyards for generations, and they made some wine mostly for the restaurant. They didn't really think much to commercializing it. And so it was Churchill, when he started getting older, he was the one he was originally working in like the local enology lab, basically, and like analyzing samples of wine. And that was where he really developed his passion and also his analytical ability to see like, these are the wines I like, because he was tasting all the great wines. And these are kind of the wines I don't. Maybe some of the more ho-hum commercial examples, he was tasting everything. We're now looking at a beautiful shot from one of his newest vineyards. And this is really important as a photograph, I would say, because the fact is that 90% of the vineyards in this part of Galicia are like super, super tiny little slices, and there's just thousands of them registered to just thousands of small growers. Because in Galicia, people, even if their kids have moved to the city and they have no intention of continuing on with the wine business or farming or anything like that, they're very reluctant to give away their tie to the land. And so they're historically have been very reluctant to sell to others who maybe want to come in and buy property and start new wine projects. So that you end up with a situation where like a lot of the land is still owned in tiny microscopic pieces by really small growers. It's just part of the culture there. But so the vineyard you're looking at, which is Churchill's, like, his baby, his pride and joy, is 5 contiguous hectares, which is like, let's say, 12 acres or something like that, contiguous, of Alvarinho and a couple other varieties, And as you can see, right on the coast, like literally does not get more coastal than this. Um, and that was a Herculean, gargantuan project to assemble even these 10 to 12 contiguous acres required talking to, dozens and dozens of different owners and their descendants in, 15 different countries of the Galician diaspora to get all the paperwork signed. And then beyond that, he wasn't even done then. You see in the left part of the screen that little outcrop of trees. Those are actually eucalyptus trees, which, if any of you have ever traveled in the northwest of Spain or the north of Portugal, you've probably noticed this, that eucalyptus trees run rampantly, invasively throughout up there. And so the government is actually sort of incentivizing people to clear stands of eucalyptus trees. And so he was able to, part of the reason he was able to get this vineyard planting project off the ground was because, in addition to the complicated aspect of assembling the contiguous land holding, he had to clear all of it of just eucalyptus trees that were running rampant. So a lot of local backstory here, but a beautiful coastal. Again, you're talking about with Albarino from this part of Galicia, one of the wines of the world that I think best reflects its origin as a coastally grown accompaniment to the local food, which, this is also the part of Spain that is renowned for tinned seafood and like razor clams and berberechos, the little cockles, and the percebes, the so-called gooseneck barnacles, and all sorts of stuff like that.
Awesome. And some more modern
Yes,
trellis.
exactly. This would be a contrasting view of what it looks like to plant in a more, let's say, conventional, modern trellising system, which does exist. Again, it exists there. The grower, of the wine that we're tasting now, the Albamar, he has a couple vineyards planted this way, like mostly as an experiment, just because he is definitely, like a lot of good wine growers, he's not extremely dogmatic. Like he wants to see if something will work, and he, tinkers around. But like we can safely say that the majority of his vineyards are looking like the last one you saw, the traditional kind of pergola style trellising is the majority of what he has. And
It's great. Okay, so what do you think makes Albarino a little different?
Oh, that's a great question. They're certainly all in the same ballpark. I think that comparing it to Pinot Grigio, you're talking about a higher acidity probably on average, like a wine that really like will hit your palate like a laser beam in a good way and really electrify you. Um, Almost maybe more than Pinot Grigio, you could almost compare it to dry Riesling in that way, almost. It's also quite, it's also fairly aromatic, but without being like effusively aromatic.
I do think that this particular Albarino kind of stands out a little bit, and it's a little more heft and plush, and there's some quality marks. It's when they're all around $18 to $20 that they kind of fall into like the same category. And this one really kind of beefs up the category a little bit and gives it a little bit more pronounced uh, character of place, character of the variety. And I love the note here that it talks about being able to pair this wine with roasted artichokes, sheep's milk cheeses, and really, we lean into that fresh, salty salinity with this wine too. I love that.
Certainly, when you're talking about a truly saliva inducing white, I mean, it's among the more versatile wines you can have at the table for sure.
Awesome. We're going to talk to you again soon, Max. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for the opportunity, and I look forward to being back soon.